Now, the University of Derby has produced this single to raise money for healthcare workers, the homeless and those in crisis. Lecturers and students have joined forces to record their own version of Thin Lizzy's Whiskey in the Jar. And they've even managed to get Bez, I love Bez, from the Happy Mondays on board too.
Hey, good morning everybody. It's the great charity Lockdown. Let's bring some sunshine to everyone's lives, a bit of happiness, a bit of fun back into each and every one of us. And this is what it's all for. It's to support the NHS Workers Foundation and my chosen charity, Coffee for Craig. So everybody, are you ready? Let's go!
1, 2, 3, 4.
Produced by pistol and then produced by rapier. I said stand and deliver on the devil, he may take you.
How good is that? So that is the charity version of Thin Lizzy's Whiskey in the Jar. It's called the Lockdown Rockdown Project, and it is the brainchild of Tom Craig, who is a film production lecturer at the uni and joined us this morning. Good morning to you, Tom. Thank you for your time today. Loving that clip of what we have heard there. So why did you want to do this?
Well, you know, it started before Christmas, and I was hearing from students, from friends, from family, all of whom have been suffering, having a bad time, and I felt this kind of sense of isolation. I think we all have to some degree. I was thinking, you know, what brings people together? What can we do while we're all locked down? And music's always been a big part of my life. You know, I think when you've got music in your life, you're never truly alone. So I put out this call via Facebook to musicians everywhere, to my students, to colleagues around the university saying, hey, look, what can we do to do some good? Let's do a charity project. I don't know if we can pull it off, but we did, and the response has been fantastic.
And as you say, we're in a pandemic. Lots of people are at home at the moment. Obviously, it's not the best time to try and get something like this going. What was it like trying to get it all together when obviously everybody is scattered all over the place and doing different things? How was it?
It was tough, but, you know, as the track started rolling in from as far afield as Malaysia, everyone doing their little bit, sometimes, you know, on a mobile phone, sometimes with professional recording gear, you know, the jigsaw started to build. And I just got this wonderful sense of, you know, how fantastic we are as human beings when we come together to do something good and the joy that can bring. So, yeah, at the beginning, I thought this will never work. And by the end, I was sat back going, well, that is an amazing testimony to the kind of passion that I know is out there and the love of life that we all have at the core of us as human beings.
And it's a brilliant track. I mean, I'm a huge rock fan. I love rock and metal and everything alternative. Why this song? Why did you pick this one? What was it about Thin Lizzy and Whiskey in the Jar that you loved?
I mean, first of all, it's a crowd pleaser. Whether or not you're in a stadium with Metallica doing their version, or it's the Thin Lizzy version you like, or you're just in your local pub, which obviously we can't do at the moment. It's one of those tracks where everyone gets on the dance floor, everyone starts to have a good time. So that was one of the reasons. But the other reason is a colleague of mine at the university has been doing some fantastic research into the Irish experience of those who came over, you know, from the 50s onwards to Derby for the first time, and he's produced a wonderful kind of record of their experiences. And that really inspired me, because one of the things we take with us when we move, of course, you know, sometimes we don't have any possessions, as a lot of these people didn't, but music and that tradition of music and of coming together is kind of all encapsulated in his research. And that really kind of made me decide, okay, this is the track for us.
And how did you get Bez on board? Now, I adore Bez. I know he's been doing this Get Fit thing of buzzing with Bez, and he just seems like the happiest person. How did he get involved?
Well, that, I was looking around. I knew that in order to get some traction, we really did need a celebrity endorsement. And I thought, going back over the years, who's always been there in music, who brings a smile to your face no matter what he's doing, who just kind of epitomizes that optimistic love for life. And there was only one answer. It was Bez. So I contacted his manager, and she very kindly put me in touch and said, well, look, he's had 200 kind of requests over the past week. He really is very, very busy. He's just launched Buzzing with Bez. But I'll ask him, and he loved the idea.
What a good egg.
If you go onto the Bez official Facebook, watch the video, or YouTube, just search Lockdown Rockdown featuring Bez. Not only does he introduce it, but he's dancing all the way through. And if that doesn't make you smile, I don't know what does. I've seen this video, 30, 40 times now. It still brings a smile to my face.
Amazing. As you say, he just is this sheer relentless force for good and positivity, isn't he? And whether he's got his maracas or not, he does just make you smile. I love his enthusiasm.
He's had some tough times.
He has.
He's been through a lot in his life. It's not always been easy, but he approaches it head on, and he lives every moment. And I think, in these dark times, it's very easy to get sucked into that kind of gloom, isn't it? And actually, you've got to wake up every day and go, I'm alive, and that's fantastic. What am I going to do today that's going to make the world a better place? And Bez does that.
I did love his Buzzing with Bez because I love Joe Wicks and I love what he's doing. But for me, I find Bez more relatable in terms of our fitness levels and what he is capable of. You saw one of the videos and he's in the field with a personal trainer and it's snowing and he's just going, no, I don't know what I'm doing. That would be me face planting if I tried to do a push-up.
Absolutely. It's a brutally honest take on the challenges of getting fit in lockdown. But he's giving it his all, and I heartily recommend to anyone kind of stuck at home at the moment that you get on board.
Amazing. We will hear more from Tom about the Lockdown Rockdown project after this. Field and Moonlight Shadow on BBC Radio Derby. So we're talking all about the Lockdown Rockdown project. If you missed it, it's the brainchild of Tom Craig, who is a film production lecturer at the University of Derby, because they've produced this incredible single to raise money for healthcare workers, the homeless and those in crisis. And it is a cover version of Thin Lizzy's Whiskey in the Jar, complete with a guest introduction at the beginning from Bez. So what is it, Tom? What do you think it is about music that brings people together, especially in a time like this?
That's a really interesting question. I don't know if I've got a perfect answer for it. But, a love of music is kind of in our core. It's a universal commodity. And whether that's just at that very basic level of expressing yourself through dance or just tapping your foot, or whether you're a creative and you want to play and contribute that way, I can't think of any story where anyone said, music is just kind of, fairly useless. It fulfills a function in our life. We need that. And it is, one of the many ways in which we can connect.
And tell us a bit more about the charities that you're raising money for. What are you hoping to achieve?
Okay, so the first one is the Healthcare Workers Foundation. So this is a charity set up by the NHS, by NHS staff to support those working on the front line in the COVID crisis. And we know that these people are exhausted, they've been pushed to the limit, that they are witnessing, some of the most horrific sights. I don't think we can even imagine what it'd be like to be working in, one of the intensive care units at the moment. And they need as much support as we can give them. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we've got those who perhaps are maybe rendered invisible at the moment because our focus is so much on the crisis, which is the homeless, and for those who are really kind of struggling on the streets. And Coffee for Craig is Bez's chosen charity. He's a big supporter of it. So we're splitting the proceeds 50-50 between these two fantastic causes.
Amazing. Now, I know you mentioned earlier on about watching the video with Bez and it's really made you smile, but point us in the right direction. Where can we listen to the song? Where can we download it if people want to get involved?
Okay, absolutely. Couple of ways. The one that's getting all the hits at the moment, if you're on Facebook, just type in Bez. He's got his official page there. Scroll down a couple of stories. You'll find it. It's currently on 7.5 thousand views.
Amazing.
Okay, so that is just testimony to the kind of joy it's bringing. Alternatively, go on YouTube and just type Lockdown Rockdown featuring Bez, Lockdown Rockdown featuring Bez, and it'll take you straight to it. And with all of these, there's a link at the bottom. As Bez said at the end of the video, even 10p makes a difference.
Amazing. Well, good luck with it. It is a fantastic effort. It is a brilliant song. As I said, I'm a rock fan. Really love what you're doing. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tom, and best of luck with the track.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking.
Thank you. This is Train and Drive By.